Okay. So thank you so much. I'm so excited about this. This is going to be the first in a bunch of webinars that I'm going to do. The next one is going to be August 8th, and it's going to be on the Lionsgate portal. I think that's a very significant date, especially this year when we're in 2024. We're in a year 8. So that will be a great one. I will do another one around the thinning of the veil in the fall. And I will do one for Yule at Christmas. So, and probably into the new year. I'm going to try to do one a month, but you start slow. So, welcome to Guidance is All Around You, How to Read Signs from the Universe. Like I said, I'm so excited about this. This came about probably because of you two, Sharon and Alicia, because we were chatting one night on a live and we decided
Yeah.
that we need to talk about signs. So so that's where it's come from. And like Sharon was just sharing a story about signs that she had seen. Signs are all around us. Like we just have to tune into them. And that's what I hope to help you with tonight. So our agenda is going to be, we're going to do a meditation for grounding. We're going to do the 5 W's and a how. I didn't know how to put that in, but the why, the who, the what, the where. We're going to cover it all, and then we're going to go through. We're going to share stories and questions. And you're welcome to put things in the chat if you like. You're welcome to share a story. Like I would really like to see very interactive, and it's your webinar as much as it is mine. So little housekeeping is if you could mute when you're not speaking, that would be great, because we don't want any feedback or surprise people yelling in the background. I've been guilty of that myself. Like I said, there's only 2 of you, so it's not as much as it was, if there had been more. You will receive a recording of this in your email within 48 hours. And yes, I'm still going to give away one prize at the end for a reading, and we're going to do a reading at the end, just about some things around the universe. So, in case you don't know, my story into all this spiritual woo-woo stuff started a long time ago, far, far away. And I think I have always been intuitive. Looking back now as a child, I had a lot of anxiety because I didn't know what to do with all this intuition with me. And I could feel things and I knew when things were going to happen, and I didn't know what to do with that. My earliest memory of getting a sign from the universe was shortly after my grandfather died. I saw him in a dream. And I often see people who have passed in dreams. If that's something you see as well, I'd love to hear about it. Put it in the chat for me. And I can still remember the dream as if it was yesterday. And it's so hard to describe this dream because the setting was just beyond beautiful. And I really believe that he was coming from like a heavenly place to talk to me. And he told me he was healthy now and he was happy. And I remember feeling the love, and I can still feel it today, and the happiness. And it's not like when my grandfather was alive that we had like a great bond. I only saw him a couple times a year. He didn't have a phone. My grandmother wrote letters back and forth to my mother. Do you know what I mean? It's not like we had this great connection, but in his afterlife, I feel we've had a great connection. And so it has only grown from there. Um, my just my interpretation of things and feeling things around me. And I should mention as well, I should have had this in the housekeeping. I think I forgot. When I talk about the universe, I call it the universe. You might call it God. You might call it a higher power. You might call it spiritual guides. You can call it whatever you want. But just for this evening, we are going to call it the universe, just to keep it all encompassing. So that's my story. I see signs all the time, and I'm going to tell you like stories throughout of when I've seen a sign. And I had a sign this week that was so amazing, and I can't wait to share it with you, but I'm not going to share it with you yet because it was just amazing. Um I get a lot of animal signs, but I do get there's so many different types of signs, and we're going to go through that as well. I really want to start um with a grounding meditation. Just really find that's a good way to start to get us into the groove and into the mindset of feeling the signs from the universe. So I want you welcome you to this relaxing, grounded, guided meditation in which you will be guided into a wonderful forest to unwind and ground and recharge yourself. Grounding exercises are techniques designed to help you stay connected. Oh, Sharon can sometimes feel people. I'm gonna check the chat after the meditation because then I get off point. So it's a great meditation is a great way to stay connected in the present moment and to reality, especially during times of stress and anxiety or disassociation. And I know people say, "Oh my gosh, I can't meditate because I think too much," but like it's just taking that quiet minute for yourself sometimes, right? These exercises aim to anchor you to your inner awareness, providing a sense of stability and safety. Grounding techniques can be helpful for various mental health challenges, such as anxiety disorder, post traumatic stress disorder, panic attack, and dissociative disorder. Let's begin this session by we're in a quiet, comfortable space. I recommend it sitting nice and tall, maybe with your feet touching the floor. I want you to take a deep breath in, allowing the air to fill your lungs, and then exhale slowly, releasing any tension or stress from your whole being. Detach from your day and live in this present moment with me. As you continue to breathe deeply, connect more and more with your body breathing. Look around and notice 5 things in your immediate environment. It could be anything from the color of the walls to a piece of furniture to a plant. This will help you begin to become more grounded. Pay attention to the sensation of touch. Identify 4 things that you can physically feel. It might be the texture of your clothes, it might be the warmth of your skin, or the surface of an object nearby. Tune into the sounds all around you. Identify 3 things you can hear, whether it's the hum of an appliance, distant traffic, or a bird song. Take a moment to notice any scents in your environment. Identify two things you can smell. It can be the aroma of food, a nearby plant, or any other scent. Take a mindful moment to recognize one thing you can taste. It might be the memory of your favorite food or drink. This technique helps ground you in the present moment by directing your attention to your immediate surroundings and sensory experiences. So gently close your eyes and continue to breathe slowly. Imagine yourself in a serene forest. Picture the tall, majestic trees surrounding you. Feel the coolness of the forest air against your skin and notice the gentle rustling of leaves, making a pleasant sound that makes you feel secure and protected. Connect with this wonderful place and feel its energy, filling you with security and protection and love. With each inhale, imagine drawing in the fresh, revitalizing energy of the forest. Feel the energy entering your body, bringing with it a sense of calm and tranquility. As you exhale, release any negativity or tension, allowing it to be absorbed by the earth beneath you. Let this place help you stay centered, grounded, and secure. Observe all the details. Look at the trees, the leaves, the blue sky. Feel the earth under your feet supporting you. Feel the fresh air entering your lungs. And listen to the songs of the birds, making you feel so calm and still. Connect with all that you hear, see, smell, and feel in this amazing place. Visualize the ground beneath you, covered in a soft bed of moss and fallen leaves. Picture the roots of the trees intertwining beneath the surface, connecting to you to the earth's energy. Feel a strong supportive energy rising from the ground, supporting you and making you feel more protected than ever. Live in this present moment and let the place envelop you in a blanket of stability and comfort. Take a moment to focus on your breath, allowing it to align with the natural rhythm of the forest. Inhale the earthy scents of the forest, and as you exhale, imagine any stress or worries leaving your body through your toes. Know that Mother Earth is here for you, helping you to get rid of any sensation of anxiety, stress, or depression. You are here to relax, recharge, and ground yourself. Now bring your awareness to your feet. Imagine tiny roots extending from the soles of your feet, reaching deep down into the earth. Feel these roots connecting you to the earth's core, grounding you and providing a stable foundation. Continue to visualize how these roots become stronger and thicker, Observe any sensation that may come into the soles of your feet. It can be warmness, tickling, or even nothing. Just stay here and allow the energy of the earth round and recharge you as you continue to breathe deeply in and exhale out fully. Visualize the sun's rays like a soft golden light around your entire body in a blanket of love and healing. This light represents the healing energy of the universe. Picture it enveloping your whole being, soothing any areas of tension or discomfort. Feeling the warmness of the sun, healing all those areas of your body that need rejuvenation. Feel how they are refreshing and regenerating all of your cells. Allow yourself to be fully present in this tranquil forest, absorbing its calming energy. Feel a deep sense of connection to nature, the earth, and the sky. Stay here for just a few moments, grounding and recharging yourself. Trying not to think about anything. Just feel the earth under your feet and let it make you feel more secure. Feel the sun warming up your body and nature, giving you a sense of deep tranquility. Know that you can return to this grounding practice place whenever you need to recharge and find your inner peace. When you are ready, slowly bring your awareness back to the present moment. Wiggle your fingers and toes, and when you feel ready, open your eyes and stretch your body and smile. Carry the grounded and rejuvenated feeling from this meditation with you into the rest of your day. Have a day filled with stability, productivity, and peace. I hope you enjoyed that. If you had any sort of um, anything come up, put it in the chat and let me know. I'd love to hear it. I also would love to know, I know where you guys are from, but where you're from. And I see Sharon, I can sometimes feel or smell things. No dreams though. Smell is one of the most, we're going to talk about this, is one of the most rarest ways to feel a sign. It's difficult. And I have smelled things too before. Oh, I forgot I put this slide in here. What do I mean by universe? Well, I covered that already. But we'll just go over again. The universe could be anywhere and anything what you feel. It could be, my mother refers to it as God. It might be a higher power. It might be what you call your spirit guides. Like there's all kinds of terms. It could just be spirit. It could be source. There's all kinds of terms. Let me know in the chat what you use to describe universe to you. That is good. Okay. Who can see signs and who is sending them? The who. So who can see signs? I think everybody. You use universe. Thanks, Sharon. Alicia, what do you use? Everyone has the ability to see the signs. It's in a matter of awareness and openness. right? And it has to do with your intuition. And I really believe intuition is it's to be developed. Some people have um it's not like painting. Some people have a talent for painting. It doesn't have to be a talent. It has to be it's very individual and it has to be developed. So some people's intuition is just stronger at the moment than other people's. Oh, Alicia, thank you. You call it universe as well. So I'm going to tell you this story of the dragonfly. And I have to tell you guys this too. I was laying in my pool the other night, and if you know one thing about me, you know I love laying in my pool. And the sky was blue, and it's on the side of my house. And so above the roof of my house, I could see dragonflies flying all over the place. And I tried to get a picture, but I just got a picture of the blue sky. So it's very hard, I guess, to get a picture of a dragonfly flying. But the dragonfly became a symbol for me a few times in my life. Um, it the first time was when I came to buy this very house where I'm sitting today, and we came in here March or April, maybe May. I can't remember what month it was now. It's all kind of a blur when you're buying a house. And I said on the way out, I said to my guides, I said, if this is the house for me to buy, I want to see a dragonfly. And we got here, and my yard, there was dragonflies everywhere, like real live dragonflies. And I was like mesmerized. And there's so many dragonflies in my yard all the time. And like when I was in the pool the other night and they were flying above the house, and I always feel connected to the universe. But I had forgotten that in the hustle and bustle of moving and doing everything and getting everybody settled. I'd forgotten about asking the universe for a sign. So to, I had decided to uh, start my tarot business. And I love my tarot business and I love sharing like insights and spirituality with you guys and talking to you guys. But I was a little bit scared to go professionally. And I went to a mystic fair with my friend and we went out for lunch. And at the mystic fair, I had a tarot card reading, of course, from another friend of mine. And she said, I see in the cards you're forgetting to ask for your guides. And or forgetting to ask your spirit guides for help. And I was like, oh my goodness, I am forgetting all about my spirit guides. So she said, I want you to sit here and I want you to think about what you want to ask your spirit guides. And so in my head, I said, guides, can you tell me, am I on the right track? Leaving the business that I had, and which wasn't serving me, wasn't fulfilling me spiritually anymore. It wasn't filling me in the connections I needed in my life. Um, it served a good purpose and it made me who I am, but now I need to be more. Um, can you show me a dragonfly? So this was like the end of November in Nova Scotia. Usually the November in Nova Scotia is rainy and cold. But this November day was beautiful. Like it was hot and sunny and you didn't need a coat on, short sleeves. I got home from that experience, kind of put out of my head about seeing the dragonfly. And my oldest son, Devin, said, let's go to the Christmas at the Forum, which is a huge Christmas craft fair here in Nova Scotia. And I said, okay, let's go. So we went over to Halifax and out the door I went again, you know, because when your old kids ask you to do something, you do it because the moments are few and far between sometimes. And so we were looking around the craft fair and I saw Santas I saw snowmen. I saw liquor vendors. There's a ton of liquor vendors at this craft fair. If you ever want to go on a date night and have a few drinks, start there because there's a whole bunch of shots for free. I saw the Grinch. I saw Christmas trees. I saw woolly mittens and woolly sweaters and jewelry. And we were kind of getting to the back of the craft fair. And I turned the corner and there was a vendor and she had the most beautiful stained glass and they were all dragonflies. And I said, well played, universe. Well played. Like why would I see a dragonfly in the middle of a craft fair? So that is how Ravenheart Tarot got born. Was I finally had the confidence because I knew that my my spirit guides were with me, right? That my divine source was telling me like loved ones who passed are like they're all there waiting to help us. And so that is like my favorite dragon. Those are my two favorite dragonfly stories until I was laying in the pool the other night and they were flying above the house. So now every time I see a dragonfly, I feel a connection. It's not always a sign like that was, because we need to ask our guides for the sign. We need to put it out there to them. But that was a connection. And so now I always feel like that's a connection to, so I have dragonflies everywhere. I've heard other stories of people who have wanted to buy a house and they've gone to see the house and they've said, if this is the house for me, I'm going to see an owl. And they've gone into a room and the wallpaper has been all owls. So ask your guides. Our guides are like hanging out, wanting to help us, right? Like I picture our guides as like blips of little light, and they're just like hanging there. Our past loved ones want to connect with us too. It's the same sort of thing. So ask them for help. Ask them for the sign. Start little. Start with something that you're looking for or questioning and say, you know what, am I on the right track? And put it out there to them and wait for your sign. If you don't see your sign, it doesn't always mean you're not on the right track. And sometimes your sign might not be exactly what you want or what you think you were asking for, and we'll get into that in a minute as well. Okay. What can the signs be? The signs can be like anything, really anything. It could be nature. So I talked about dragonflies. So it could be nature, it could be weather patterns, it could be plants. I always try to go for something that is out of the ordinary that I wouldn't see. Do you know what I mean? Like I have crows in my yard. If I said, "Oh my goodness, universe, tell me this is a sign, I'll see a crow." Well, I'll see a crow like every 5 minutes in my yard, right? Like that's not really not really a sign. But if I'm going to tell you this other story too. Um as you may or may not know, my mother had a stroke on April 30th. And so last Sunday was Father's Day, and I was feeling a little bit, melancholy. He has passed 6 years now. And he always called my mother his little woman. And I know, like, some people might think, oh my gosh, that was terrible. But, like, he was 80 some years old, right? So he always called my mother his little woman. And so I was out in my yard, and I didn't even ask for a specific sign, but I am like so sure this was from my father. And I said, Dad, if you think we're taking really good care of your little woman, send me a sign and I will know it was from you by the sign that I see. And so kind of went by and I kind of put it in the back of my head. Tuesday morning, Sean came running up from our office here because he shares an office with me. And there's a little window over there. And he said, something was tapping on the window and it scared the life out of me. He goes, it's a pheasant. And so my father loved pheasants. He loved to eat them. He loved to hunt them. He loved to have them. He thought they were beautiful creatures. And we can hear a pheasant in our yard all the time, like in the forest behind our yard, but I have never seen it. Not in the 3 years we have been here. I've never seen it in our yard. So I went running to the window to look out to the backyard. And not only was there a male pheasant, but there was a female pheasant and five baby pheasants. And I have four siblings. And I said, if that's not us, I said to John, oh, sorry, that's a sign from dad. I asked him for a sign. So if that wasn't a sign from my father, I don't know what was, right? So it was so serendipitous and just beautiful. And it filled me with love. And, we need that. We need that guidance. We need that assurance. We need that inner peace about that, right? So look for your signs. Numbers, repeating numbers and significant dates can be a sign. Um, we often hear of 11:11. It's funny because somehow our alarm clock in our bedroom got turned to military time. So instead of waiting for 11:11, I wait for 22:22. So and twos have a different meaning than the 11s. But yeah, think of numbers that you see repeating. That is a sign. It could be a sign that your guides and angels are like, I'm here. Hello. I'm here to help you. um Objects, feathers, coins, songs. um I had somebody reach out to me and they said, I asked, you saw 555 earlier today. Yes, Alicia, 555, like repeating numbers, that is a sign, right? um I had someone reach out to me and they said, I believe my guides. I believe they're here. Yes, 333. That is like a sign too in the morning. Like when you wake up, it's like they're so close because the veil is very thin at night and they're closer. And there's a belief that we astro travel when we sleep and that our dreams are actually stuff we see with our guides. Um, I had a lady send me a message because she goes, I totally believe in guides and I totally believe, and I asked the universe to show me if I'm on the right path, show me a black crow feather. Now, like I said, I have crows in my yard all the time. My yard is like a haven for different birds. We have crows, we have woodpeckers, we have blue jays. Apparently, we have pheasants and pheasant babies. Um, all the things. I've never seen a black crow feather. I don't know if they just don't shed their feathers or, I don't know how that all works. So, my answer to her would be, did you see a crow? Because they have feathers, right? I have a crow up here on my shelf, um, right here. Now it doesn't have feathers, but it is a crow. So sometimes you have to see the sign isn't always as literal as we take it. Sometimes it's an imagination a little bit. Yes, a crow has feathers. Coins, dimes are like, you often hear dimes from heaven. They are a sign from our loved ones and our guides, um, or specific objects appearing, like things that you'd be like, where the heck did that come from? I haven't really had that happen. I'd love to hear if you guys have had that happen. But specific like things to just kind of show up. And songs, I love songs. And a story I have about songs is, and it's a very multifaceted thing. So I'll tell you this part. I went to a thinning of a veil, and my pal Vanessa, who I read tarot with, and we're great pals, and we do a lot of these kind of spiritual things together. Um, we went together, and when we got there, it's going to encompass a lot of things. You always hear the song Titanium. I wonder what the connection is there. That's interesting. Um, so a few days before, I could smell, and smell is one of the hardest ones to bring in. I could smell a hand lotion, but I couldn't place it like a body lotion. And I was like, that's not my body lotion, but I couldn't place it. And then we go to this thinning of the veil. And my friend Carol was doing it, and Carol is so connected and so beautiful. And she said, who here has had a loved one passed? And there's two numbers, 12, 23. What is the significance of that? And then she looked at me and she said, there's somebody behind you. And I said, well, my sister passed, or my sister's birthday was December 23rd, and she has passed. And so at that point, she said, what was your sister's birthday name? And I said, my sister's name is Valerie. And Vanessa goes, are you kidding me? And I said, no. And she goes, every time in the last week I've got in my car, the song Valerie has been playing. So I think my sister was trying to get my attention through her hand lotion, through Carol, through Vanessa, through all these people that I know. And she goes, your sister just seems to want to let you know that that it's okay. The things that happen around her death are okay. The things that happened are okay, and that she's proud of you. And then Carol goes, I think she just wants to hang out with you because she is just hanging out here. And so that was like such a great experience. Now, I'm not a medium yet. I am developing those skills, and sometimes I can feel people. Um, but that's like, we can all feel them, right? So look for those things, like those weird odors out of nowhere, like the hand lotion or the songs. Like, why would Valerie be playing in Vanessa's car every time she got in the car, right? Or the dates, like 12/23. Like, that was my sister's birthday. There was no way that that Carol would know all that. And so dreams, sometimes I get direct messages from people who have passed in dreams, but sometimes our dreams have deeper meaning. And I don't know if this is just me, um, but I sometimes get up and Google my dreams. Does anybody else Google their dreams to see what it means? Sharon, I've twice or three times smelled fresh cigarettes while I'm going about my day. It's my dad. He smoked and I don't, and no one in my life does. Yes, yes, it is. Yes. Um, yeah, so I will do that. And I remember this one dream because sometimes there's just something in the dream that is so vivid. I had some like crazy ass dreams last night. It's the full moon. I find I have always vivid dreams around the full moon. But this dream a few years ago, repeating dreams too. Watch out for repeating dreams. This dream a few years ago, kept dreaming of a burgundy shirt. Like, I'm not sure what I was buying a burgundy shirt to wear somewhere. So I Googled, what does a burgundy shirt mean? And it said it's meant to tell you that you're stepping into your abundance. So look for those symbols in your dreams, right? And look for loved ones. I just remembered your dream. I normally don't. When my mom was dying, I was in New Zealand and I dreamt she was telling me it was okay. And she appeared so young and beautiful. Oh, that is a gorgeous dream. I knew to call home and I got to speak to her before she passed. Oh, Sharon, I'm so glad you got to speak to her before she passed. And it probably was her coming to you in her dream because she probably knew she was getting ready, right? I think people are aware that their time is coming. And yeah, what a beautiful memory and a beautiful dream. Now, I've had vivid dreams since a young child, and I can tell you about dreams I had as a young child, and I've had repeating dreams as a young child. And so Google repeating dreams because there's messages in there too for you to look for. Synchronicities, meaningful coincidences. Um, my mother and I are writing her memoir right now, but she's going to be 92 in August. And so she's 91 in 10 months, she tells me. So, it's very, I'm learning a lot. You don't sleep. Oh, Alicia, we need to get you some sleep help. Sleep is so good for you. So good for you. Um, And so we're writing her memoir. And so I'm learning a lot about her. But one thing I learned the other day that I didn't know was we have this really good friends that I grew up with their daughter. The mother was my brownie leader, my guide leader. She passed last summer. She was my mother's good friend from church. She has visited me 3 times in my dreams. But we were talking, and the father in this family, his name is Larry. And when my mother was a small girl, the war was going off. She was born during the Depression, and she grew up during the World War II. And so the war was going on, and they were building the army base down from, or the naval base, I guess it was, down from her house. And some of the men that stayed in her house, they had 2 men that boarded with her. Well, one of the men was Larry's father. So that is a synchronicity. It's a meaningful coincidence. Do you know what I mean? When you look back, it's that 6 degrees of separation. It's trying to figure out, um, when you think of somebody and then you run into them, or you're looking for something specific somewhere and you find it. Those are synchronicities. And the last way that a sign can be is any of your 5 senses, right? We talked about smell, sight, like when you see things. Sometimes, have you ever heard somebody say your name and there's nobody there, right? That can be a sign. And it's a little like, have you ever gone, what? What? And the person you're with is like, I didn't say anything. And you're like, oh, okay. Well, that could be your senses. Sometimes when I'm reading tarot, I hear the messages in my head, um, and the words in my head. And so, like, listen, like, or it could be music. Like I talked about the song Valerie, and Alicia talked about Titanium. It could be music. It could be touch. Have you ever felt that? I know the answer. Thoughts pop in my head. Yeah, yeah. So, and sometimes when I'm reading tarot, I feel like somebody's giving me a big hug. Like I can feel them hugging my arms. So the sense of touch. I have never had the sense of taste um, be a sign for me, but maybe it could be. Maybe it's something you're eating that reminds you of somebody. Do you know what I mean? Just because I haven't had it doesn't mean that it doesn't go that way. Let me know in the chat, like any of these signs that you have had. I used to carpool with a friend, and I felt like I was pregnant, had weird cravings. I found out she was. Whoa. I asked her because I kept getting these weird feelings. Oh my goodness, you were having sympathy feelings. That is a sign. Yes, intuition. Love it. I love that for you. All right. So, where will you see the signs? So you're going to see these signs in everyday life, in the mundane activities like commuting with your friend when she's pregnant and working. So I want you to not think that the signs have to be like clouds parting and angels playing trumpets or horns. Do you know what I mean? I want you to think like, where am I going to see these signs, right? Sometimes I'm scrolling Facebook, and all of a sudden I'll see dragonflies and I'm like, oh, okay, something's speaking to me. Now, I used to think red Ford trucks were a sign from my father because my father thought that was the only type of vehicle anybody should ever drive. He was a funny dude. But recently, I don't know, every construction company, there must have been a flash sale on red Ford trucks because I must see 50 a day. I no longer think of those as a sign from my father. I think of those as a remembrance of my father. Same with um, his name was his name is Malcolm, and I called him Big Mac. I'd call him, hey, Big Mac. And he loved Big Macs from McDonald's. So it was kind of like dragonflies are a sign for you too. I love that. But the other day I saw Big Macs at McDonald's, like the truck was driving, and I'm like, that's not a sign. That's just a remembrance. So like kind of think about that. You'll see signs in personal anecdotes. You'll see them in your stories. You'll see them like in the stories I've been talking about tonight. I love to tell stories on I feel it's a great way to learn. You'll see them in media, in books, in movies, in social media. I was at a gong bath before Christmas with my pal Vanessa again, because I tell you, we do a lot of these things together. And she tapped me on the shoulder, and the lady sitting next to us had Doc Martens on it. And either she bought them that way or she had them painted and they had a dragonfly on them. And I was like, oh, there's my dragonfly. Always makes me feel good. Think about special places. Um, think about sacred spaces, like in your meditation or your spiritual practices, right? Where do you see signs there? Or in your relationships and in conversations, right? Have you ever had that conversation where you're talking to someone and you're like, I feel like this person, like I know this person, but I don't know this person? You have that synchronicity, or you are talking to someone and they sort of know or bring up something that you're thinking of, that is a sign as well. So they're all around us. And like I said, like I know I said I feel that our guides are out there as little lights, but sometimes I feel like they're just little people all waiting out, going, well, I just want to help Alicia with this, and I want to help Sharon with that. And they're out there. So let's utilize them. All right. Okay, so why do you want to see guides, or why do you want to see the signs? So I use it for guidance and connection. I use it for peace sometimes. Sometimes if I'm stressed, and I'm scrolling along and I see a dragonfly. Now I have a dragonfly picture here on my wall. I don't consider that a sign anymore because I see it daily. But if say I'm scrolling social media and I see dragonfly earrings, I'm like, oh my goodness, that's a sign that makes me feel good. It can be for growth. Um, it can be, it can benefit you in many ways. Like it can give you assurance. It can give you increased awareness, enhanced intuition and decision making skills. Like seriously, if I hadn't have saw all those stained glass dragonflies, we probably wouldn't be here tonight, right? Like that was the little push I needed to start Ravenheart Tarot. And somebody asked me the other day, why didn't you call it dragonfly something? And I'm like, I don't know why I didn't call it dragonfly something, but it's Ravenheart Tarot now, so that's what it is. Um, uh, I feel they encourage me to trust my intuition. Yes, yes. And like sometimes we just want to know from somebody higher than ourselves, from somebody that's not our spouse or our best friend or our family member, am I on the right track? Sometimes we want to keep things um to ourselves. Like I wasn't going around going, I'm starting a tarot business. Should I start a tarot business? I wanted to keep that to myself. I see license plates a lot. I was driving in a snowstorm in the car. Oh, said you are safe. Oh, that's amazing. I love that one, Alicia. That's so cool. Like so cool. I haven't had those ones before, but that is like definitely right from the universe. I love it. And like to have a greater sense of peace and purpose. Like why wouldn't we want um more peace and purpose, right? I'm a totally different person when I am guided by my signs than if I'm not and I'm having all this stuff. Takes away that overthinking as well, right? Like we don't want to be overthinking about our decisions and about other things. I have a couple signs too that didn't mean anything to me that I'll explain in a little while that when I was reading tarot, but it meant a lot to the people I was reading for. And I'll tell you that story in a minute. So that's why we want to see signs. So I try to remember to call on my guides, especially when I'm having a hard time making a decision. And I find as an entrepreneur, and I'm a solo entrepreneur, it's not like I have a whole bunch of people like in a store where I'm working. I have me. So sometimes I need that. And right now I've asked for a sign. And I'm going to tell you guys, I haven't seen it yet. I've asked for a sign, and you guys can tell me your opinions in the chat because I fully value you are members of my community. The sign I'm looking for right now is, should I open our community up to men? Because I have two spouses that would like to come into our community. And I don't know if I want to open it up to the general population of men, but if they come vetted from other members of the group, then yes, I would let them in. I don't want all the widow military husbands coming into the group to find um, matches. Do you know what I mean? And I even talked about this to my husband because I was like, what do you feel like? Now he's in our group because he's an admin. Yes, but filtered. Yeah. So so that's where I'm at with this, because in the beginning I was just women, because we know how men can be, but lately I've had a couple spiritual men that want to come in, and I think the more women can share our spirituality, definitely filtered, it will change the dynamic in the way we share. Yeah, it will. So I think filtered. Now I know um one set that would like to have their spouse come in. He watches with her anyway, right? Like he's like, is our tarot on tonight? And so the other one is my cousin's husband, and I sort of know him, so I'm sort of like, yeah, but then I can't let him in and not let others in. So yeah, so I'm thinking filtered and with like some strict rules, because I don't want them in like trying to come on to all the women that are in there. So that's how it is. So I've asked the universe for a sign, and I haven't seen it yet. So I will, if you start seeing men in our group, you will know the universe has guided me to let some men in. Okay. When to see the signs, and we were kind of like just touching on this, but times of uncertainty, transition, or seeking answers. And as we came on tonight, Sharon was telling me about a sign that she saw about buying her house. And Sharon, I know, or maybe do a men's only for a bit. Maybe then they can have an unbiased view. Maybe I do a men's only night. Maybe I'm going to make a note of that. That's a smart idea. See, when you talk, you talk. Um, so times of uncertainty, and Sharon was telling me about like they have found the perfect house for them, and it kind of just sort of sprung up and out of nowhere. Like this house grew out of nowhere, and I feel that about the house I live in. Like buying a house these days, like you have to know somebody, or you have to be the first one in, or it is really hard in Canada to buy a house these days. Um, and for daily rituals and meditations and mindfulness, like call on your guides and ask to see the signs that are around you. Um, yeah, tune into things, right? Like keep your intuition and stuff going, right? Like practice it daily. Start small and then move on to bigger things. And like I said, being an entrepreneur, like I sometimes, like I have mentors, but I sometimes don't have that person to bounce something off of, and I need somebody. So that's when I move into my guides, right? All right, how to see signs. We're going to trust our intuition. Now, you can feel your intuition in many different parts. I feel my intuition in my belly. When I'm reading a card and I know that's the right tarot card for that person, I feel it in my belly. When when I'm feeling somebody's presence, I feel it like a hug, right? So trust your intuition. It's that first guess, right? Should I do this or should I not do this? Also trust that things happen in your life for a reason. And you might not know that reason right now. It's like if you get stuck in traffic. Why did I get stuck in traffic? Well, maybe you got stuck in traffic um, to make things like so you didn't hit a car accident, right? That's what I'm trying to say. But trust your intuition. I trusted my intuition with my mom lately, and it has made the world of difference for her. She had her stroke on April 30th. April 24th, we were told that my mother didn't have the will to walk. She had the potential, but not the will, and that she had to go to long-term care. May 28th, we were told my mother had the will because I boosted that woman's will up for 5 days, but she did not have the strength in her legs to ever walk again, and she should go to long term care. And I was like, I don't know if she should go to long term care. And I asked some people, and I really felt like private physio would be better for her than rehab. My brother wanted her to go to rehab. My sister was on the fence. My other brother kind of was with me. And if you know, I have a sister that passed. And so we went to this big meeting about her, and she was there. And my brother wanted her to go to rehab, but to go to rehab, she would have to go from rehab to home. And I knew that's not what my mother wanted. And I knew that she did not want to go home and be alone. She did not want to go home and be alone all day. Right. And they were saying things. And I knew that the things they were saying weren't true about my mother, that she would never walk again, that she would be incontinent, that she would, never be able to go to family functions. And I was like, I know my mother. Like, that's not my mother. And in my head, it was like, she needs to go long-term care. She needs to go to long-term care. She needs to go long-term care. So my brother fought to have her assessed for rehab. And I think that's how he was processing things, and he needed to have that done. So we had her assessed for rehab, and she didn't qualify. 2 days later, she got sent to Twin Oaks. So this is a 17-bed hospital, um, about 40 minutes from me, but it's in her community. She is walking to the bathroom now. She is no longer incontinent. She hasn't peed her pants in 7 days, she told me today. She is dressing herself. She now has goals of walking. She's still going to long-term care, because that is the best place for her to go. But she's not going to just sit in a wheelchair. And I knew that that was going to be the best place for her. But sometimes, like, people around you, they don't feel what you feel. And he was still feeling the grief. And yeah, I'm so amazed. Like, every day, my mother's determination is inspiring to me. And I actually just mailed her a card telling her that. Um, and I see her like every day, and she'll probably be like, why did you mail this card? But I wanted it to be special, and handwritten mail is always special, right? And the other day, she sat herself up in bed on the edge of the bed so I could put her shoes on so she would be ready for physio. She is in the most loving, caring place now. And I just knew that that would be the best thing for her. And my brother had to grieve differently than I did, and he had to get to that. But trust your intuition. And sometimes you quietly have to trust your intuition, and sometimes you have to scream your intuition. We need to have an open mind and an open heart. If you don't believe, then you don't believe, right? You're not going to, they could send you all the dimes from heaven if you don't believe that that's where these dimes have come from. I know the day my father died, I walked into his room and I wanted to smell his clothes and I wanted to smell him. And I walked over to his closet. And when I walked back, there was a dime in my path. And I know that dime was not there before, right? The first time we went to my father's hunting camp, um, after he passed, it was Thanksgiving weekend, and he loved to have us down there for Thanksgiving, right? He There must have been 2 rolls of dimes on his windowsill. Why would there be 2 rolls of dimes like scattered all over the windowsills in the cottage, right? Like, why would they be there? And my brother goes, those aren't from dad. I'm like, yes, they are. Scooping them up and putting them in my dime jar, right? Like, you have to have an open mind and an open heart. Now, there are techniques um, to help you like get to more in touch with your intuition. One technique is journaling. Journal like things and start asking your guides. Like that's the easiest thing. Like start asking and see where you feel it in your body, right? Like do you hear it? Do you smell it? Do you taste it? Do you feel it? Like where do you feel it? Like I said, I feel mine in my stomach. Maybe you hear voices in your head, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's a good thing. Maybe you taste something. Maybe taste something sweet, and that's your intuition, right? So I want you to think about that. Meditation is a great way to ground yourself, um, and and be able to let yourself be guided to trusting and seeing your signs. Sharon says, I feel it and sometimes I smell it, but also sometimes my body, it tingles. Yes, I get body tingles too. And I've had those since I was a small child. And I thought everybody had those. It's like I see auras too. And I thought everybody could see auras, which everybody can, but you have to develop that skill. Yeah. So stay open. Start small. Start saying you feel yes, yes, Sharon. So start small. Say like well, like if you're at the grocery store, start and say, should I buy this or should I buy this? Show me a sign. Show me a sign. Show me a sign. Like start with easy signs that you might see and then work your way up to harder signs, right? I like to ask for out of season signs. I always find they're lately when I write at work, sometimes my eyes end up with hearts. And it feels like, oh my goodness, I love that. Like you're not doing that. That's amazing, Alicia. I love this chat. Like I love it. Yes, intuition, or that's somebody telling you that they love you, right? Like that is fabulous. So I want you to another thing I like to do this time of year. I don't do it in the winter because we do live in Canada. Um, but yes, that is channeling. Yes. And you can channel and you can not hydro, astro visit things as well. Visit places and people, and that's all in your intuition. Um, I like to go get grounded on the earth. As much as you can, walk bare feet in the grass this summer. Was sitting at baseball the other day, grass under my feet, shoes come off, my feet are in the grass. I want you to do that as much as you can because the electromagnetic pull and feel of the earth under your feet is so good for your body and it's so good for your connection. So I want you to do that as much as you can. All right, I that's all my slides, but I want to show you um a couple of I'm going to stop my screen share and then I'm going to show you a couple of and tell you a couple of stories about tarot cards that I was reading. When I first started reading tarot, I was reading tarot for a lady I knew in Ontario, and I didn't really know that much about her. She was a client of mine in my other business who came through me through another client. And I just reached out. I think I posted something on Facebook and I said, who wants a tarot reading? And she messaged me. And so as I was shuffling the cards, and I was using my chakra deck, which it's an oracle deck I don't love. I'm going to be brutally honest. I don't love it. I thought I would, but I don't. This card popped out. And so I was like, oh, that's interesting. And I put it back in the deck. It meant nothing to me. I don't like that it says trickery. It meant nothing to me. So I was shuffling again, and as I started to do her reading, a card jumped out again, and it was this card. And she gasped. And I was like, "What are you gasping about?" But if you can see, where's my thing right there? Right there, there's an acorn. And an acorn is a sign for her. And because she grew up in a place called Oak something farm with oak trees all around. And that was a sign for her. So this card was meant for her. And a lot of times that happens to me in tarot. And so she was like, there is trickery going on. There's something going on at work, and I have to be cautious of that. And I was like, oh my land. So, like, this wasn't a sign for me, it was a sign for her, and I love that for her. The next time, not the next time, but another time that has happened to me was recently. I was reading somebody's tarot, and the Tower card came up. And this is the Tower card. I don't know why I can't find cameras today. And so, like, it's all these little things. And the Tower card is about breaking things down to build back up for better, right? Keeping your foundation solid, but things are going to come crumbling down. But ultimately, you're either going to be okay and you're going to adjust, or you're not, right? And the lady that I was reading for, she goes, "What are those, like, little flashes of light?" And I said, "You mean here?" And so I held it up to the camera because we were doing it on Zoom. And I held it up to her, and she was like, "Oh, they're monarch butterflies." And I said, "They are monarch butterflies." And she said, "That's a sign from my grandfather." And never had I noticed that these were butterflies before. So sometimes when I'm reading tarot, the signs aren't for me. The signs are for somebody else. Do you know what I mean? So we can also channel the signs for somebody else. So I would love to hear your stories, or your any questions that you have. You can unmute and you can ask me, and let's talk. Let's talk.
I had something happen to me when my mom died. And for all the things I feel and see and sense, I never feel like it's my mom ever, except when she was dying. And that, like, I woke up in a panic. We were in New Zealand. We were in Australia, went to visit a friend. That day we were going back to Australia. I was with her baby sister, my aunt. Um, and I had this dream and I had to phone home. And it's the only way I got to say goodbye because my dad kept saying, "She's fine, she's fine." And she had a healthcare worker with her. And my dad went to get water or something. And she said, "I've sent your dad to go get water for your mom. Like, she's not okay. Like, she's not okay. This is it. She stopped eating. Like, it'll be any time now. You need to talk to her." And she put the phone to my mom. And I was talking and telling her I loved her. And she was blinking. And she's like, I forget her name, but I can still see her face. And she said, she's blinking. She hears you. Keep talking, keep talking. And that was like, she couldn't talk back, but I got to
Yeah.
say goodbye because I had that dream. After that, I never see my mom. I smell cigarettes. I think of my dad. His cousin, I keep trying to see more of. She always told me, when I'm not here anymore, I'm going to be on right here. She was very little. She was like 4'10". I'm going to be on your shoulder always. So I really try to feel that, but I never feel my mom. But while you were talking, I remembered something. So my aunt was here for my mom's funeral, and Diane. Um, and we were in the flower shop, and I have these flowers in my yard, which I hate because they grow really tall and they fall over, but they attract hummingbirds. And my mom
Um,
loved them. They're called like red hot pokers or something.
oh yes. Yeah. Yeah.
They have
Yeah.
you don't see them very often, and you don't see them in
No.
flower stores. So we go to get flowers for my mom for her funeral, and I turn around and I walk into these red hot pokers. And I started to cry because I turned around and I was going to say, "Mm, look."
Yeah.
And my dad is like, "Stop being silly." And her sister is like, "No, like she's seen these. She's
Yeah.
making her think of her mom." Never until right now have I realized that that was a sign from her.
That was a sign from your mother. Yes.
And I always say I never feel them from her.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and you have to think, like, I have a friend as well who passed away in when we were young. And so I was 23 and she was 21. And I have desperately wanted her to come in a dream for me, and I've never seen her in a dream. However, now that I think about it, I'll tell you 2 stories about her. The other about a couple months ago, I said, "I'm gonna get Andrea to show me a sign," because her name was Andrea. I have a sister, Andrea, as well, not to confuse the 2. And, I was gonna get Andrea to show me a sign that she is connected to me, that she is here. I miss her dearly. Um, and so she loved teddy bears and she collected teddy bears, and not just stuffed teddy bears, like teddy bear figurines and teddy bear door knockers and teddy bear light switch. She had teddy bear everything. And
did
so I said,
Diane.
yeah. And I said,
Everything.
Andrea, show me a teddy bear. I said, but not just a teddy bear. I want it to be a green teddy bear because she also loved the color green. And so I kind of waited and I was like, I don't see any, like a green teddy bear. That shouldn't be hard to find, right? But I didn't like go shuffling through stuffed animals to find a green teddy bear or anything. I was watching a TikTok and the lady was talking about getting one of those great big Costco teddy bears. And she was so excited about getting one. And I looked at the lady. The lady had green hair and she was talking about the Costco teddy bear. And I was like, well played, you little trickster. Well played. Then I got to thinking, my friend Andrea loved the color green, number one. And number two, she always said that you give your green M&Ms to your friends, to your best friend. So I've taught that to my children. And I got up one morning and Caden had saved all his green M&Ms for me out of a package and they were there on the counter. And I was like, how could that not be a sign that, connection with her? And I've opened a pack of M&Ms and they've almost all been green. So, like, you have to like interpret these signs. They're not always literal, right? Like you have to sometimes think outside the box with them, like the owls in the wallpaper, like the red hot poker flowers. Do you know what I mean? Like you have to think, yes, that was a sign. And your loved ones want to connect with you and they want to still be part of your life. And I want you to know that. Like I think it would be a very boring existence to just be like flashes of light somewhere. Do you know what I mean? Like they
Yeah.
still want purpose, right? I don't believe in a heaven or a hell. I don't believe my mother's friend today was saying, you're going to one place, it's smoking or non smoking. And I'm like, no, you're not going to a
No,
smoking place. I don't believe in that. If you don't make peace with your maker before you go, and I'm like, yeah, I think if you live a pretty good life, like y-
right?
I don't believe in the ultimate punishment thing. I think that's a man-made
Me neither.
construct, right?
Me neither.
Yeah, so like I could tell you so many stories of intuition. Alicia, Alicia has a
The
dragonfly she was
dragonfly.
telling us. I love it. Look at that. We're connected. We're
Mhm.
connected. And dragonflies have been my thing since before I knew they were my thing because I have a dragonfly tattoo on my foot that I've had for
Oh,
probably 22 years. Oh, and
One.
see, we're connected, dragonflies. So,
yeah.
yeah. Do you have a story or anything you want to share or any questions?
So dragonfly is a big thing for me too. And one time, I don't know what was going on, so I have kind of half a story, but I remember like asking probably for some kind of a sign, and I didn't ask for a dragonfly, I just asked for something. And there was a dragonfly like huge. Like I didn't know they could get like this big. And it was in the back of my seat. Like I was in
Oh
a
my gosh.
drive-through. I was in a Tim Hortons drive-through and it was like behind my head. And I
Oh my
remember
gosh.
trying to take a picture because I couldn't believe that there was such a thing. I don't know how I think there is, like it didn't seem real. Like how does that happen?
Yeah.
But I've seen it again and it's like flying. I was on a Zoom call like recently and kind of wondering, it was for the business thing I'm trying to work on,
Yes.
and I'm wondering if it's a good idea still or not. And the dragonfly, this giant thing, is like flying by my car. I thought, no way, that's okay. That's a good thing.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah. So I think, yeah, ask your guides, Alicia, and they'll tell you if it's a good thing or not. But that giant dragonfly, that's like the one the other night above my house that I was seeing from my pool. Like it was way up in the sky, but
Yeah,
it looked
huge,
huge. And I
like the
couldn't
size of my arm.
because you think if it was up in the sky, it would look smaller. And I couldn't understand why it looked so big. And I was trying so hard to get a picture of it, but like I think it was camera shy or something, right? Like
Yeah.
so, yeah, I love that. Yeah, like ask your guides for some support and some help, and they help us with these great big decisions. I hate making decisions. It's too much. We have to make too many decisions, right? So then the big ones become astronomical. But I love that it was a huge dragonfly, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Sometimes I'll get stuff kind of out of nowhere too. Like, I think that Titanium song, if I'm kind of
yeah,
having a bad day or something, it'll like come on the radio, and
yes,
it's
yes.
that's funny, just like out of nowhere, and okay, I get it. Like,
Okay, yeah,
cheer
I'm
up.
titanium. I'm tough. I can do this, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I love that. I love that. Music is such, there's so much words in music and so much more to music. And it's so connected to our intuition more than we allow it to be. Like,
Mhm.
generally, I love music. Not that I'm musical, but
I
it's
Another
great.
thing I see is quotes a lot. Like, they'll
Yeah.
show up on, like, Facebook or Instagram or things like, or I'll hear them, like, people
Yeah.
saying them.
Though that's serendipity, like, or synchronicity, sorry. Like when you see those quotes,
Mhm.
that is what you need at that time. That is the universe telling you, like, we're here, like I'm here, like it's all gonna be
Yeah.
okay, right? Like,
I don't
Mhm.
know. Soon.
yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I love it. Do you guys have any questions for me or
No, I just wanted to tell you, sometimes you feel hugs.
yeah.
So, when I was in my 20s, when I was younger, when I was like 16 or 17, my parents used to have a suite in their downstairs. And when my grandmother went back to England, I lived in it. And I was sitting in my room and I felt this hug and I could feel this presence, and this presence was proud of me. And it was really a lovely feeling. And I thought it was my grandfather who had died because the cat took off and the cat was not coming back. So I go upstairs and I say to my mom, who's stirring gravy, I can still see it, "Do you believe in ghosts?" And she's like, "I think so. I suppose so. Like, I'm stirring the gravy. Like, what the heck?" And I'm like, "It's your dad." And he's downstairs. And I remember her stopping the stirring. It was so funny. And I told her what happened. And I think she believed me. And then I didn't feel it for a while. And so when I was about 21, 22, my grandfather was dying, and I felt that same feeling. And I realized this is my dad's dad, who I did have an amazing bond with. I was the first grandchild. They brought me to Canada, broke his heart. We were extremely connected, even though I didn't know him very well. And so when he was dying, I realized that I could still feel him and I could still feel that hug, but it was much fainter because he was dying.
Yeah.
Um, I went to see him. He didn't die. He rallied. A couple years later, I'm sitting in Denny's and it's 3:27 in the morning. It's that after you've been out drinking breakfast thing before you can go home. And it was 11:27 and I'm like, I don't know, that's really weird. Anyway, I go home. I haven't had much sleep. My aunt calls in the morning, and my grandfather passed away at exactly 11:27 in England, which is exactly when I was having that feeling. And she remembered the time exactly because she arrived 3 or 4 minutes too late. She took the bus, she ran down the hall, and they said he died at 11:27. And so I had known the exact minute, and I
Oh,
didn't realize at the time. But after,
oh,
I was like,
that's,
those hugs I used to feel were him.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I love that. And I feel I feel the world is coming into a spiritual awakening. And if we all stop thinking of this as woo woo new age stuff, and that we all start moving into our intuition, the world will be in a nicer place, right?
Right.
You know, more kindness and more understanding and more, just more
Empathy.
empathy. Exactly. Exactly. So I love that I can see Alicia tonight and talk to her because
Sorry, I'm kind
you've
of in the dark.
you've been in my business for a long time. I've never heard your voice. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And it's always
Yeah, who's that girl?
one way conversation, right? It's
I
just me
know. That's
talking. I
funny.
With some
love it.
typing. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I love
right?
it. I love it. I'm going to tell you one more story and then I'll let you go because I've had such a great night. I'm flying high. Like this has been
It
amazing.
was fun. It was fun.
Yeah. Um, and I didn't realize this until somebody pointed it out to me, but um, my father and I were very connected. I'm his youngest daughter. And he always used to say to me, and as I got older, it annoyed me, and now I wish he would say it. He would say, "Are you dad's girl? Are you dad's girl?" He would say it all the time. So we're very connected. I have two older sisters, and I have an older brother and a younger brother. So I'm the little girl, right? And um, April 1st, 2018 was Easter Sunday. So April Fool's Day was Easter Sunday. And we went out to my parents as we always did for Easter, and the family was all around. But I kept getting this feeling from my father that something was not right. Like I got this feeling. And the next day, my father had a stroke. But that night when we left his house, I cried and my husband said, "What's wrong?" And I said, "That is the last family event we're going to have with my dad." And he goes, "Don't say that." I said, "That is the last. Did you not see him?" And he goes, "He looked like he always did. Like I don't know what you're talking about." The next day he had a catastrophic stroke and he was still able to communicate with us, but there was no helping him like we're helping my mother. And I said to everybody, I knew there was something wrong. I knew it was wrong. Didn't you see his lips? His lips looked blue, like he'd been eating blueberry pie. And nobody remembered his lips being that way.
Hmm.
But I think it was a foreshadowing of what was to come. And somebody told me recently, maybe nobody saw it that way because only you were able to see it that way.
Mhm.
And then he passed 4 days later. So sometimes, like, I don't think acting on my intuition would have made any difference for him. Um, he had had one stroke a few weeks before, like a mini stroke, and it was pretty catastrophic. I don't know if it would have made a difference, and I'm not carrying on that either. But yeah, sometimes we, with our intuition, are going to see things and signs that other people don't see. And I want you to remember that. And it doesn't mean, because sometimes when we see things that others don't see, we kind of think, oh my God, I must be the crazy one. We're not the crazy ones. We are the seers, right? We are the seers. So believe in yourself and what you're seeing and what is out there, right? Like, why did nobody see that man's lips were like blue? Do you know what I mean? Right? Like, why did just I see that? And like, when I say my family was there, there's 27 of us and nobody else saw these lips, right? Like, so, oh, I'm just going to do a reading for you guys. I'm totally was going to send you guys on your way. I have to do a draw and one person's going to get a little reading. Um, Before we go, I'm going to put your, it's very scientific. I'm going to write your names on a little piece of paper and put you in this box. And one of you will get a quick little 3-card reading. So we have Sharon. I'm going to show you your name so you know what went in the box. And prices might get better over time, but this is what they are right now. And Alicia, I'm going to put your little in the box. And I'm starting a new thing too when I do readings, especially I'm going to do a 3-card reading. So we're going to, whoop, jumble you guys up, hopefully, and see who gets it. Yeah, because you had to be on to get the reading. And so, Alicia, you're getting a 3-card reading tonight. And so, I want you to choose a number between 2 and 30, and that will be the number of times that I shuffle the cards.
9.
9. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right. And no cards jumped out. You know, it's really humid down here in the office, and I think my cards are sticky. So I'll pull your cards for you.
Come to my place is the opposite. It's snowing in the basement.
I pick cards intuitively too. I don't know. I think Sharon, you know, you've seen me do this, but I
do the same thing. If I
yeah,
spread them out, I do that too.
yeah. Yeah, that one. There's 1. There's 2. Oh, okay. There's 3. All right. So I got your 3 cards. Okay, so we're gonna do past, present, future. And so in the past, you were the Page of Wands. I love the Page of Wands. All about enthusiasm, excitement. I'm feeling in my head that this has to do with the business journey you're on, that you had some enthusiasm and excitement, and maybe that's waned a little bit, and that you need to get back there to that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I really want you to, because I know business is hard, girl, and I know there's days that you don't want to do anything and you're like, why am I doing this? But like, I feel this has to do with your business, and I feel like you need to find that enthusiasm again that you had in the past, because you know you get that first burst of, oh my god, I'm going to start a business, and then you start the business and you're like, okay, where are the people, and then you have to do the hard work.
That's like spot on. I was thinking that today. When I was like doing the courses, and like I was really like enthusiastic about it and so excited, and just been struggling with it for the past, I think, couple weeks. So I kind of, and last weekend was Father's Day, so the weekend was pretty much a write-off.
Yeah.
And the weekend before kind of got, so I just said, you know what, that's enough. I need maybe a break, because obviously I'm being told to stop for now. Maybe I don't know why, but and then maybe I just need a rest to
Yeah, and that's
and
all
go
right
back.
too, right? Like
Mhm.
my business personally has kind of been on the back burner lately because of things going on in my life. Like I had to give other things attention. But now I feel like a renewed energy in my business, especially, you know, committing to tonight and doing this. It helped me feel a renewed energy. And I feel like I have some fresh ideas. And the energy in April and May was kind of stagnant too. And I think
Mhm.
since the full moon and the summer solstice, the energy has changed. So I want you to remember that too.
Yeah, that's I even did, have you ever heard of a cacao ceremony?
Yes, I
I
haven't
did.
done one, but you.
Yeah, I'm gonna so there's a lady that came up here from Mexico to do one, and I might try to go to Mexico another time in January to go
To do
and
a
do it
ceremony.
again.
Oh,
Yeah, and it
wow.
was really cool. It's all about love. So maybe that's why I'm drawing hearts and stuff on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe. That's
it was pretty
cool.
interesting. Mhm.
Yeah, I've heard of them, but I've never been part of one, and I think I need to seek one out now and be part of one. Yeah.
It's so fun.
So, well, this is funny. Well, not funny, but this is like synchronicity. The next card that came up for you was the Ten of Cups. And Cups is about emotion and love, right? And so you are feeling wrapped in love right now. And that's great. And maybe that's why you're drawing little hearts. Like, I want you to remember that you're wrapped in love. Um, and just the excitement of the love. Do you know what I mean? Like, we all have
Mhm.
times in our life where we don't feel loved and we feel like life isn't going our way, but I want you to think in the present moment that life is, the universe has your back and things are going to open up for you.
That's also funny, this, if I don't mind. I don't wanna waste anybody's time if you have to
No.
go, but I had a funny story. I was at a speaking of signs, I was at a stoplight and there was this, the color Tiffany blue?
Yes.
So there was a Tiffany blue, like, Audi with the 4 rings on the front car pulled up beside me, and a guy was in, and I'm single right now, so I had to say, I rolled down my window, we both had our windows down, and I said, "I love the color of your car. That is so pretty," and he goes, and we had, like, a huge chat, and then he said, "Bye, love," and I was
Oh,
wondering, like, what is that? It was kind of funny. It was hilarious. Yeah.
yeah. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
You're gonna
Sharon
run?
had to go.
Okay. Thank you,
Bye,
Sharon.
Sharon.
Bye, Sharon. Still only early. Sharon's in BC, so it's still only early at BC. She probably
Oh,
has the
okay.
rest of her day too. Thank you,
Yeah,
Sharon. I'll send you the
I'm gonna go
recording.
make dinner. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
And yeah, I love that for you, Alicia. I've never seen a Tiffany blue Audi. And that's,
Yeah, it
I
was
bet he
funny.
had, yeah, beautiful. That sounds like a beautiful car. And like the conversation that you rolled down your window and said,
Oh, it was a whole thing. It was like he said it was his, people think it's his girlfriend's car, and then I thought maybe he was nothing, whatever. I don't know. I thought it was his car, and he said it is his car, but he uses it to pick up girls. And I thought it's so funny. And he's like, I don't even have a girlfriend, and I just, and then we had to go, so it was bye, and that's it. So I thought that was pretty funny.
that sounds like a rom-com.
Yeah, I know. What the, like a movie, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I love those too. So how funny. Maybe I'm supposed to write one.
Maybe. Oh, that's something. That would be interesting. Okay.
Mhm.
So the present, so that was your present feeling. So your future. So your future is the Five of Cups. So you are feeling a lot of emotions right now. I'm telling you. And in the future, you need to um, feel your intuition and move into your intuition and feel that spiritual higher power of yourself and trust that part of yourself. Because I feel you have it, but I feel you're not trusting it enough. And I want you to know to trust it.
Yeah, that's exactly kind of why I came onto this, because so I had a situation where along like years ago I was dating somebody, and I have lung issues, and I was like
Yes.
really sick, and I probably shouldn't have went out with them at all. It was like our first date, and I was coughing and everything else, and then I went anyways. And wouldn't you know, I went to my car like the next day, and a spider web was like around my, where the steering wheel. Yeah. Like how does that happen?
Yeah, exactly.
And
That's if
then I
that's not a
thought,
sign.
yeah, it was like way later, and I should have, it's like I wouldn't listen. So it's like trying to make me sick so I
Yeah.
wouldn't go and everything else. And I don't know why I wouldn't listen.
Oh my gosh, Alicia,
And
I'm
that was,
married to a man, and the signs were telling me, don't marry this man. He is not the man for you. I
yeah,
knew, you
it's
know, but
crazy.
sometimes I didn't know to listen to my signs, right? I'm married to my
Mhm.
husband now, and I followed those signs to a T, right? Like,
Yeah, it's
and
funny.
sometimes we're so busy doing life, we just don't see them. But I
Well,
want
that's what
you,
I think happened. I got too, like, caught up, right? And
yeah,
so I'm trying to figure out how to listen to them, I guess, is
yeah.
my, because I don't know how to listen to my intuition, how to feel it.
start noticing little things, right? Start noticing
Mm,
little things and start journaling them and how you felt around them. Like, even like follow your intuition, like, should I eat chicken tonight or should I have steak? Do you know what I mean? Like
okay.
how it feels in your body, like little decisions, and then you'll start learning what it feels like for you,
Okay. That's a good way to do it.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Or where like, you might hear your intuition, right? And or you might like smell it, or or should I like, now this kind of sounds totally superficial, but sometimes I get like a big intuition that I need to go shopping, and then I go and get some stuff that are good deals that I was looking for. Do you know what I mean? Like, that sounds a
Yeah.
little stupid. And I don't know if it's a craving that I have to go shopping and I'm just telling myself it's my intuition, but like something like, you need to go to Winners. You need to go do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
or I'll bump into somebody I haven't seen in ages. And that's why I had to
Mm-hmm.
go to as well, right? So I want you to think about those things, and I want you to start practicing calling in things like, I'm going to see green shoes today, or I'm going to, do you know what I mean? And the more you do that, the more confidence you will have with your intuition.
Yeah, that's a good, because sometimes I see cardinals,
Yeah,
but I don't have anybody.
that
I would
path.
say that, well, I have like grandparents that passed, but I guess because I never considered them close.
Yeah. I'm going to tell
I
you too, what a sign is for one person doesn't have to be your sign, right?
mm-hmm.
Like, um, I see cardinals, and I saw a cardinal the day after my father died, and I saw it in my yard. I saw a male and a female, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure it was my father and my sister because she had passed 10 years before him. And I had never seen a cardinal in my yard before. Now, every time I see a cardinal, I don't think that's my dad coming. Um,
Okay.
but Halloween last year, I have a window above my door, and outside I had like painted branches black, and I had them above my door. And I looked out
Mm-hmm.
that window one day, and there was a cardinal sitting in there. So I took
Wow.
that as a sign, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, but what something means to someone doesn't have to mean to you. Like, I might look at a dog and think, oh my God, I love dogs. They're loyal. They're so cute. They're great companionship. But you might have been bitten by a dog, and you might think
Right.
dogs are scary, and dogs, beware of dogs, and have a lot of negative feelings towards dogs. So cardinals might mean something totally different to you
Mm-hmm.
than it does to somebody else. So you need to learn to call in your own sign.
Yeah, that's true. Because even the other day, I think I was like driving and there was a bunch of turkey vultures.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, was this a sign? Because it was weird for me to see them.
Yeah.
But is that because I saw two of them, like one after the other, on two different sides of the road, and I thought, okay, what the heck does that
What does
mean?
that mean? Yeah. And some things are just like weird coincidences, right? Like,
Hmm.
we sometimes we overanalyze things too.
Yeah, yeah, I do that, so I have to tell the difference. And
Yeah. Yeah. And so I like with my pheasants the other day, I'm pretty sure that was a
oh
sign.
yeah,
Like,
that was pretty clear. And that's the thing. Maybe I need to ask for more clear.
yeah, be clear and ask your guides, right? Like,
Hmm.
for a clear sign, like a dragonfly, or maybe switch it up. And that's why I don't ask for dragonflies all the time now, because like it would be too easy for me to go, especially this time of year. Oh my God, there's a dragonfly. Do you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, switch it up a little bit.
Well, I tried. I think I'm kind of going for the monarch butterflies right now
Yes.
because there's none. I never see them anywhere. So
Yeah.
if I
Yeah.
seen one, then it'd be,
It would be unique, right?
yeah.
And so yeah, so that's a perfect way to do it. But really feel you need to feel into your intuition and your spiritual side more. And I know that you're going into a business, or you've taken courses and you want to start a business, it's more on the logical side. But
Hmm.
remember, women are intuitive and men are logical. And to fit into their world, we need to do what we do best, right? We've tried to be logical like men, it doesn't work for us. We need to be intuitive and feel into our decisions.
Oh, that's interesting because my actual job, I still have a full-time job. All our systems got hacked, and there's like 15,000 things that are affected by it since last week. And I thought, I'm trying not to freak out, and I can't control it.
No.
And all the guys are, well, I work with a lot of guys, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, they're all like, don't worry about it. Who cares? We'll figure it out then. And
Yeah.
I'm trying
Yeah.
not to lose it. And I'm like, you know what? I'm trying really hard to not care. And it's,
Yeah. But we do care
yeah,
because we're
too
more
much.
emotional beings, right? Like it's who we
Yeah.
are.
Hmm.
And so, and I'm not telling you don't care, but like feel into your intuition. And sometimes when I get like that, I have to write it down to get those
Yeah.
feelings down. And then I can move on to that, right? Like get it
Okay.
out of your head and out of your heart and onto a piece of paper or something, and then you'll feel better about it.
Hmm. Okay.
Well, thank you for joining me. I've had a
Thank
great time
you.
chatting with you. And you've been very supportive of my business all along. So I love that. And thank you.
Yay.
Um, yeah, I had a big thing about to sell at the end, but it's nothing that you guys don't already get. You already get a discount. It was just the membership. So if anybody's watching this recording who's not a member, because I am going to put it for sale on my website, but they're going to have to buy it. You can join my membership group. The price is going up, so you want to join now. And you get early bird specials on my courses that are coming up in the fall. And you will also get 20% off. So it's amazing. It's amazing to be a member. And you get readings. I don't have I do 2 or 3 readings a week. You get extra bonuses. You get a monthly reading that's only for members, and prizes. And I have a lot of things up my sleeve that are coming up for the fall. So watch out. Watch out. I had a one-on-one with a very world famous numerologist, and she said I needed to make big plans for the fall. So
Ooh, exciting. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, she lives here in Nova
Ooh.
Scotia. So
Oh, I might have to take a trip there one day.
yes, I do have some local stuff coming up too, Alicia. And I don't want to tell you that because like you're not here,
I
but
know, I gotta fly there. Maybe I'll get a private jet.
we're gonna do a sound bath in a
That's
swimming
so
pool
good.
so that you're floating. My friend does
Mhm.
sound therapy. And so she's going to
Mhm.
do that portion of it. I'm going to do a meditation and all the arrangements, and we're going to split it up that way. And
Wow, that sounds so good.
yeah, yeah, there's a new pool that's just opened up here locally that's um it's in a strip mall.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. And it's not like, because most of the pools are like owned by the recreation department and stuff. This is like a private business, but it's really hard to get your kids into swimming lessons in Nova Scotia. It's like you have to win the lotto to get them in. So they opened up this pool. And so it's not very deep, but it's very warm because it's meant for little kids to swim in. So it'd be
Mhm.
perfect for the sound bath, right?
Oh
So
yeah, that's gonna be amazing.
yeah,
I
yeah.
want to hear about this.
Yeah, yeah, I
That's
will let
good.
you know. And my goal is to run one a month. So,
Ooh,
yeah. So, you could
interesting.
come down and
Yeah, that'd be
hang out.
fun.
Yeah, yeah. Where are you going? Going to a sound bath, and I'm going to Mexico for a cacao ceremony.
Yeah. Well, you never know.
You never know. You got to dream big.
Yes,
Dream
yeah,
big. Yeah.
for
Well,
sure.
thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
And I'll see you online.
Yes, I gotta
Yes.
catch up.
Yeah. And I wish you light love. Bye bye for now.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.